Hello everyone. Today we are going to discuss R K Narayan's Swamy and Friends. In this chapter, we are going to discuss themes and characterization. In the previous class, we discussed the challenges, growth and the end of childhood in the novel Swamy and His Friends. In these chapters, we saw Swamy's life shift from carefree adventures to deeper challenges that gradually end his childhood innocence. Overall, these chapters highlight the impact of Swamy's choices, the test of friendship and loyalty, and the difficult lessons of growing up, beautifully capturing the bittersweet end of the childhood. Before we dive deeper, let's have an introduction. Today we will explore the rich themes and characterization in R K Narayan's Swamy and Friends, a novel that lively captures the world of childhood against the subtle backdrop of colonial India. Now we will outline the learning objectives of today's session. By the end of this lesson, you will be able to identify and analyze major themes, examine character development, analyze colonial influence on the school system, interpret symbolism and rebellion spirit, how it reflects larger social structure of authority and resistance. Let's now turn our attention to the key themes in Swamy and Friends. R K Narayan's Swamy and Friends is an outcoming of age, that means growing up novel, that delves into the various aspects of childhood, society and human emotions. Now we will discuss some of the major themes explored in the novel. The first theme is childhood and innocence. The novel vividly portrays the carefree world of Swamy and Friends, filled with playful adventure, minor conflicts and moments of wonder. Swamy's innocence is highlighted when he unquestioningly hands his money to a coachman who tricks him with false promises. Another instance in his naive belief that burying coins in the ground might lead to divine intervention, only to be disappointed when nothing happens. And he also has a fear of supernatural beings like demons, gods, devils and all this, particularly when he forced to sleep alone. All these reflect the vivid imagination and innocence of childhood. Additionally, the enthusiasm with which Swamy and his friends create the Malgudi Cricket Club, believing they can compete with professional teams, further illustrate their youthful optimism. Actually, they cannot compete because they are just budding artists, but they believe that they can compete with the professionals. So, this is one of the innocence, it shows innocence. Next theme is friendship and loyalty. The strong bonds between Swamy, Mani and Rajam from the core of the novel. Initially, Mani views Rajam as an enemy and even contemplates throwing him into the river. However, their rivalry soon transforms into a close friendship. Despite their deep connection, the novel also emphasizes the fragile nature of childhood friendships. When Swamy fails to attend a crucial cricket match due to issue at school, Rajam feels betrayed and refuses to forgive him. This incident ultimately leads to Rajam's departure from Malgudi, leaving Swamy heartbroken and regretful. Next important theme is education and authority. Swamy's struggles in school go beyond usual childhood difficulties with homework and discipline. Through his experience, R K Narayan draws a parallel between the rigid, often oppressive school system and the larger colonial structure that governs India. School becomes a place of both learning and restriction, where Swamy's individuality clashes with strict rules and expectations. Many of Swamy's hardships, such as corporal punishments, humiliation and rigid routine, mirror dehumanizing effects of colonial rule. He is subjected to harsh treatment, excessive discipline, and a lack of personal freedom, reflecting larger struggle of Indians under British rule. Even when the board school's headmaster is revealed to be weak and ineffective, he still exercises absolute power over Swamy, showing how authority can be restrictive regardless of competition or competitive skills. However, despite its oppressive nature, school also provides Swamy with a sense of belongingness. His friendships are deeply tied to his school life, as seen when Somu, after failing an exam, is automatically excluded from the group. This reflects how deeply social structures shape personal experiences. Although Swamy resents school, he also benefits from his discipline, gaining confidence and academic improvement, which helps him meet his father's expectations. The unpredictable nature of school life, where moments of order quickly descend into chaos, mirrors the instability of colonial rule. A celebration at the end of the school term turns into destruction, reinforcing the theme that oppression and disorder often exist side by side. Swamy's reflection that school can be a bad place highlights his growing awareness of the challenges he faces, both in education and in the larger world shaped by the colonial influence. This dual role of education as both source of growth and oppression serves as a microcosm of colonial rule itself. Swamy's experiences illustrate how individuals under an oppressive social system must navigate both hardship and the small joys that help them endure. Next important theme is colonial influence. The novel subtly explores the impact of colonialism on everyday life. While the story primarily follows the childhood adventures of Swamy and his friends, their experiences are shaped by the political and social realities of time, often without them realizing it. Through Swamy's perspective, R K Narayan highlights how colonial rule fills all aspects of life, even in the apparently innocent world of children. Swamy's father, who works under British administration, represents the Indian middle class adapting to colonial governance. The emphasis on English education in Swamy school illustrates how British customs and language were imposed on Indian students, sometimes at the expense of their cultural identity. At the beginning of the novel, the presence of British colonialism is introduced in a subtle and indirect manner. In Swamy's missionary school, his scripture teacher, Mr. Ebenezer, imposes Christian teachings in a biased way. The children, however, initially see these lessons as a notifying more than entertaining stories, enjoying the vivid imagery they create in their minds. Swamy, however, soon begins to recognize the contradictions between these teachings and his own beliefs, leading to a minor protest against his teacher. Despite his confrontation, Swamy's concerns remain largely personal. He is more focused on impressing his friends and avoiding punishment than on the broader implications of religious influence in education. Swamy's interaction with his friends also reflect how colonial power structures subtly shape their worldview. When Swamy and Mani first meet Rajam, their initial rivalry is based on power and dominance. Rajam's status as the son of a police superintendent impressed Swamy, who see this connection as something to admire rather than question. This reaction highlights how authority, particularly that linked to the colonial administration, is accepted unquestioningly by the children. As the story unfolds, Swamy finds himself increasingly drawn into political events. Though he does not fully understand the significance, at one point, Swamy, Mani and Razam take on the roles of authority by intimidating a younger boy, pretending to be government police. Their actions reflect an unconscious imitation of the oppression they have witnessed, showing how colonial rule influences behavior even at a young age. Later, Swamy becomes involved in an anti-British protest, not out of deep political conviction but out of excitement and a desire to be part of something bigger. He enthusiastically burns his cap as a symbolic act of defiance, feeling proud of his contribution to the cause. However, his understanding remains superficial. That means it's in surface level, and he perceives the event more as an adventure than a moment of resistance. A turning point occurs when Swamy finds himself caught in a school boycott and participates in acts of rebellion without fully grasping their significance. He takes pleasure in breaking windows, seeing it as an enjoyable act of defiance rather than an expression of political resistance. It is only when he witnessed Razam's father, a symbol of colonial power, preparing to suppress the protest, that he begins to recognize the seriousness of the situation. This moment marks the beginning of Swamy's awareness of the deeper implications of colonial rule, as Narayan suggests that such realization often occur gradually and subconsciously. The influence of British culture is also evident in the boys' passion for cricket, a quintessentially English sport. They excitedly form their own team, the MCC, embracing the game as an important part of their lives. However, as they try to navigate the rules and formalities of organizing matches, Swamy begins to worry about government regulations and taxes. In a humorous moment, Razam briefly sympathized with Mahatma Gandhiji's opposition to British rule, acknowledging it only for a moment the burdens imposed by colonial authority. Cricket, which initially serves as a way to strengthen the boys' friendship, ultimately leads to conflict when Swamy's absence from crucial match results in a fallout with Razam. It creates a gulf between Razam and Swamy by showing how a British sport both unites and divides the children. It can unite and it can divide the children. Narayan subtly reinforces the idea that colonial influence is inescapable. Even in moments of leisure, political forces shape the personal relationships and experiences, emphasizing how deeply colonialism is embedded in daily life. Through Swamy's journey, Swamy and Friends illustrates how colonial rule is not just a distant political force but an everyday reality that affects even the most ordinary aspects of life. Whether through education, social structures or cultural practices, British influence is ever present, shaping the characters, perceptions, interactions and aspirations in ways they do not always recognize. The next important theme is rebellion and conformity. Swamy frequently resists authority, whether it be his father, teachers or school officials. His rebellion spirit is evident when he impulsively joins an anti-British protest and breaks a school window, not fully understanding the political significance of his actions. However, he soon realizes the consequence of his defiance, highlighting how children often act on impulsively without grasping the larger implications. Next important theme is family and parental expectations. Swamy's relationship with his parents reflects the general expectations of discipline and obedience. His father is strict and expects him to excel academically, whereas his mother is more affectionate and lenient. This contrast is evident when Swamy's father forces him to write an official apology to the headmaster after an incident at school. The pressure to meet family and societal expectations becomes overwhelming, leading Swamy to run away from home in a moment of frustration. Next important theme is the journey of growth and change. As the story unfolds, Swamy undergoes significant emotional growth. At the beginning of Swamy and Friends, Swamy is a carefree and dependent child who lives at the comfort of his home and takes his family's support for granted. His parents provide him with stability, and his granny, though he finds her old-fashioned, offers him unconditional affection. Swamy enjoys the security of his childhood, where his biggest concerns revolve around school and friendships rather than deeper challenges. However, as the novel progresses, his experiences gradually push him towards maturity, forcing him to confront the realities of life beyond the protective embrace of his family. A turning point in Swamy's journey comes with the birth of his younger brother. Initially indifferent, Swamy soon realizes that the baby has shifted the focus of household. This marks his first encounter with the idea that love and attention are not limitless, and he is no longer the sole priority of his family. At the same time, his father becomes strict, expecting more discipline and academic success from him. Swamy, who once saw his father primarily as a protector, now views him as an authority figure to impose expectations rather than simply providing comfort. Swamy's evolving understanding of the world deepens when he encounters the coachman's son. What begins as an innocent desire for a toy quickly escalates into conflict, exposing him to real hostility and danger. When he later sees the boy at his father's club, Swamy instinctively wants to confide in his father but ultimately decides against it. This moment marks a significant shift. Swamy realizes that his father is not all powerful and may not always be able to shield him from difficulties. The climax of Swamy's transformation occurs when he runs away from home. For the first time, he takes control of his own fate, stepping beyond the familiar structure of family and school. His confusion when he is rescued by Mr. Nair, momentarily mistaking him for his father, reveals the depth of his internal change. He is no longer the same dependent child who once believed that his family could solve all his problems. His regret at not properly saying goodbye to Mr. Nair suggests a deeper realization. Childhood innocence is fleeting, and he has crossed into a new stage of awareness. By the novel's conclusion, Swamy has outgrown in his initial naive perspective. Though he still lives within the same household, he now understands that life is not complex. Life is both, it has simplicity as well as complexity, and that safety is not guaranteed. Through Swamy's journey, Narayan presents a universal coming of age story. That means you can find some kind of growth in everybody's story, showing how personal growth often comes through disillusionment and the realization that childhood security is temporary. Swamy's transformation is not just about growing older, it is about gaining deeper understanding of himself and the world around him. These themes make Swamy and Friends a timeless novel that captures the joys, struggles, and transformation of childhood, making it a relatable and enduring the story for regardless of all ages. Let's now turn our attention to the main characters from Swamy and Friends by R K Narayan. The first character is Swaminathan alias Swamy. Swamy is the central character of the novel, a mischievous boy yet innocent, living in a fictional town called Malgudi. He is playful, curious, often rebellious, particularly when it comes to school and authority figures. Swamy enjoys spending time with his friends, playing games and going on adventures, and he also concerns as a child or going to school, learning arithmetic, impressing classmates and avoiding to disappoint his father. Swamy is an average student among his friends. He sometimes struggles with discipline at school and at home, but his experience assists him mature over time. The next important character is Mani. This boy is very hefty and big size, so everybody has some kind of fear. So he is one of the closest friends of Swamy, and he is known for his strength and intimidating quality. Okay, by seeing his physical personality, everybody has that fear. He enjoys asserting his dominance over others and initially sees Rajam as a foe. However, over time, he and Rajam become good friends. Despite his rough exterior, Mani is loyal and deeply values his friendship with Swamy. Next character, Rajam. He is a new student in Swamy school and the son of British government official, that is a police superintendent. He is a wealthy, confident and speaks English fluently, which makes him stand out among his peers. Though initially at odds with Mani, he eventually becomes friends with both Mani and Swamy. Rajam is also the one who suggests forming the Malgudi Cricket Club, which showcases his leadership skills. His departure from Malgudi at the end of the novel is a turning point in Swamy's emotional growth. Next important character is Somu. This person is also one of the important characters in the novel. He is a good friend of Swamy and he is known for his easygoing nature. He is a class monitor and rarely gets into trouble at school. He is very friendly, dependable, though he does not play a central role in the story as Mani or Rajam. Next important character is Shankar. He is the most intelligent and academically gifted student in Swamy's friends group. He is very disciplined and responsible, often assisting his friends with schoolwork. However, he eventually leaves Malgudi, which marks one of the first instances of separation that Swamy experiences. Next character is Samuel. Because of his size, everybody calls him as the P. Samuel is a timid and gentle friend of Swamy. He is often part of the group's adventure but is not as assertive as Mani or Rajan. Next important character is Swamy's father. Everywhere you can find him. He often appears on the episodes. Swamy's father is a strict and disciplined man who expects Swamy to be obedient and hardworking, particularly in his studies. Though he often scolds Swamy, his actions stem from a desire to see his son succeed and a boy of successful or a man of success and all this. He represents the authority figures that Swamy frequently rebels against. Next character is Madhav. She is the main character here, but who is very kind and affectionate towards her son, and she is a very soft kind of personality, contrast to his father's. She is protective of Swamy and tends to be more lenient with him. Next character is grandmother. Swamy shares a special bond with his grandmother, who listens to his stories and offers him comfort. She represents the warmth and wisdom of traditional Indian family life. Next important character is Ebenezer. Because of him, we can find a kind of rebellion act in Swamy. Ebenezer is Swamy's scripture teacher, known for his biased and strict approach to education. He harshly criticizes Hindu beliefs while promoting Christianity, which disturbs Swamy. His character highlights the theme of religious bias in colonial education. The next character is Headmaster, who is very strict and who enforces rigid rules. Swamy's defiance against him, including running away from school after being punished, is one of the key moments in the novel. All these characters together bring Malgudi to life, portraying the innocence, friendship, loyalty, and struggles of childhood in a relatable and timeless manner. Let's proceed to the conclusion. Throughout our discussion of the key themes and characterization in Swamy and Friends, we have seen how Narayan artfully portrays the innocence and mischief of childhood, the fragile and meaningful bonds of friendship, and the subtle but deep imprint of colonial influence on everyday life in Malgudi. We have explored how Swamy's small acts of rebellion, his struggles with family and school, and the shifting dynamics with his friends gradually shape him into a more self-aware individual reflecting a universal journey of growing up. By studying these themes and characters, we gain not just a deeper appreciation of Narayan's literary craft, but also a thoughtful lens through which to understand the timeless joys and challenges of youth, community, and change. Well, that wraps up our final class on Swamy and his friends. Thank you all for your interest and active participation.